Give me a hi in chat. I see a couple of you lurking already. Hello Whammer, hello definitely Tom. I am in absolutely no way surprised to see you with somebody else's name. It's honestly a miracle you accessed YouTube. But we'll get started in a moment. Just gonna look for a couple of minutes, let people show up. I have stuffed myself with a metric ton of pasta. My garlic breath is through the roof. We're gonna have a lovely time talking about some gobshite stuff. That will happen, Tom. Hope we are all doing well. It's fine Tuesday evening. I made a sort of alio olio thing, but I also dumped a bit of tuna in it as well. It's good. I'm working on getting the recipe right. Pie and mash, hell yeah, hard to beat. Do you love a pie and mash? We're ready to draft, we all know what we're doing. Got our plans in place. Know our targets for round one. I've got a nice big list of 29 players. I will take the one at the top when it gets to me. I'm not gonna bring and make like Alio Elio to Good LeechCon. What are you talking about? That's an insane suggestion. I will get a mediocre vegetarian burger from KFC, and that's just how it's going to go. Yes, remembering that the gimmick is happening is a really important component of the gimmick. Not really sure what you mean by that, Whammer, to be honest. A bit of a weird pull for you to bring up there. I haven't thought about that man for many years. But it's probably time for us to get started with the Globbies, because I can see a few of you here. Hello, guys, popping up there as well. Alright, let's do the thing. Let's do some awards. We all know what we're here for, so let's do it. Right, so it's the Globbies. I almost remember how to do these things. But it's season 23. We did another one. It's the biggest one we've done yet, except it was kind of not the biggest because we cut out like a million games. But it was the most players we've ever had, that's for sure. And it was good, I think. I think the consensus is that we had a good time and it was fun. Let's talk about the good things and the banterous things. But first, of course, look at the images. Look at them. Oh, look at them. There's them going. Oh, look at the pretty colours. Oh, that's cute. You like those. Good. Look at the images. Okay. And Weasels are the winners of the league. Third time champions, Club Atletico Weasel Planeta. Arguably the Gobshite League's most iconic club. Just kind of an exceptional beacon of everything that is good and right about this whole endeavour. We love Weasels. Everyone's a fan. And this is of course how they did it over our league table here. It was a very, very close final day, with the top two changed in deep into stoppage time through two incredibly and increasingly hilarious goals. But it is a win for Weasels, just ahead of Los Hijos de Chad. Sirs were involved for a long period of time, but did not repeat titles. But good showing for some of the new boys. Partisac got 4th place on first try. Very, very strong. Buffs with Bacon Dock Spartans, firm mid-table finish, a very crowded mid-table to be fair. Like there is not an awful lot between say like 6th and 20th really, but will also in attendance finish 28th out of 29 of the not even even below a gimmick team. Tough year for Wolves, but Nottingham bringing up the rear with their all funny names team. No wins on the board, not a record low finish, but pretty fucking low. Yes, Remco exclusively drafting young players and his terms isn't forming. That is an extremely funny tiebreaker, possibly the best tiebreaker yet. I think we can agree. The youth team performance as tiebreaker, extremely strong. Why does Tom want Vince to make logos? Does Tom think Vince made the other logos for the clubs? That's exciting. Anyway, let's do some awards. That's what we came here for. Some gosh darned awards. Team of the season. Well, you know how it goes. A team won the league, and that means they win team of the season because nobody understands a common definition of team of the season that isn't that. So Weasels do get the victory here. A few shouts for Barcelona, Los Hijos, and Nasarabwa. But a couple of people suggested Partizan for a really strong first season where they were in title contention until really close up to the end of the season, and did a good cup run as well. But it is Weasels who get the point here. Oh dear, Vince has actually designed things. Well, that's sad. It's much less funny when you're right. It's fair. I did also make the cup semi-finals. I sort of forgot about that because I didn't want to anymore. But the Weasels and the cup don't really get along at this point. But I guess semi-final is a good thing. Maybe that's why I also won DO for the season. Because once again, people don't really have any good way to separate this sort of thing. Sometimes it's based on who drafted the best. That's how Reese votes, because Reese gets to see the simulations. But a big win for me here. Jogar, Stefan, Nicky all getting shouts. A couple of votes for Robbie for the recovery in the back end of the season and a general presence in chat, particularly when you realised the cup was on. Returns to prominence in Twitch chat with some excellent contributions there. But it's going to be a Weasels 1 and 2 in the early stages. Manager of the season. Now this is much closer. It is between the two teams that did well, but we do have a tie here. Roy Keane does get a shout for putting up with all the stuff. Joe Gomes in the mix as well. Zinedine Zidane had a good season with Sirs. But it is a tie here between Jindrich Topichovsky, which I definitely pronounced correctly, and Jose Mourinho, who came in to right the sinking ship at Nasarobwa. I'm going to break the tie in favour of the person I voted for, which is Jose Mourinho. And if you don't like that, you should host the Globbies. So congratulations to Jose for winning Manager of the Season. It was a serious comeback from a Nasarobwa side who were completely fucking dead and then came back to get 6th place in the cup. Pretty damn good. What have we got next? Player of the season, presumably. Yeah, that's the one. Ooh, I've got to move my camera. Thank you, past me. Let's just go over here. Let's go on a little journey. Whee! Right, anyway. Go there. Where was I? Player of the season, yes. Whole bunch of shouts. Some of them are sensible, some of them not. Joe Gomes had a genuinely good season. Still definitely a meme nomination, but it's his most plausible nomination in some time, so well done to him. Rafinha, perhaps like one of the most notable figures of the season, but there are, I would say, more consequential awards for that kind of thing coming up later in the evening, so that's fine. Nick Pope in goal for Surreal was nominated for goalkeeper of the season, and that's pretty much all I have to say about that. A couple of votes for Teo Hernandez for his instantly iconic 96-minute winner. Albeit at the time, we didn't know at the time Weasels had already won the title because Vegas had already bottled it. But it was, in the moment, a league-winning goal. Also, a very good left-back, is in the contention for left-back of the season. We'll get to that in a bit. But I think had an outsized moment of significance there. But it's our two strikers here getting the most votes. Olivier Giroud, the talisman for Weasels, huge part of their success. Just finishes behind Erling Haaland, who was technically the best player of the season because he scored a shitload of goals, as he is wont to do. Now, often we see this for Haaland, we just kind of ignore it because he's Haaland, or his team only gets like fifth or something. But his team almost won the league, and it was mostly his fault. So, Erling Haaland is going to take our player of the season. Yes, there is a pretty distinctive pattern for who votes for Joe Gomes, and that is pretty traceable throughout the process, you will notice as we go on. But in this case, I do believe we are talking about our friend Stefan. Pingu does vote for Gomes a little bit, but I'm not convinced he even voted in this category. Right, let's go on now to some of the positional awards. Team of the season. In goal, this sure is a bunch of goalkeepers. Cavas for BBC gets a little cheeky shout out. Hals Bells did some stuff for Tesco. Nick Pope at Surreal had a good season, got a player of the season nomination. Manuel Neuer at whoever Manuel Neuer played for. Is it Partizak? That feels right. Partizak were good. Neuer occasionally was troublingly good, often was troublingly bad, as usual. Probably has no right to be this close to actually winning this award. But our winner, for presumably being good, is Marc-Andre ter Stegen from Fullman. Couldn't tell you anything about his season, but apparently he did win an award for goalkeeping. So there you are. Well done to Mats. He's the first name on the team sheet. Let's go on to the defence, starting with the right back of the season. This one is actually going to Joe Gomes, a legitimate award for a relevant category on a serious level for Joe Gomes at Tesco Karabag. Was just a really good right back this season. Joe Gomes excelling in his natural home at Tesco, apparently. Wins our Brexit-based right back poll. Tino Livramento from Partizak did extremely well as well. Does get a lot of votes here. Reece Wammer, everyone here had a good season. Reece Wammer was good for the Pythons, inspired to play for half of himself. Rico Lewis at the Baddies and Carl Walker at Crawford. Also, I think can justifiably be pleased with their presence on the list and getting a vote. I think they deserve a vote, but it's Gomes who takes it at number 2. Let's go to centre backs. Lots of competition here, lots of good suggestions for who should win this. And I think William Saliba has got away with it a little bit. If you look at the stats, not even technically the best centre back at Weasels this year, but he does win the award for being the most prominent centre back, most well known centre back at the title winning defence. Had a good year, but not a great one. Gets on the list alongside Levi Colwill, the real boy from EHOS. Really coming into his own this year, and his second attempt at being a real boy. Has been a good real boy both times, I believe. So well done to Levi Colwill, gets on the list. But plenty of people here can be, were justified votes, I think. Axel Disasi, the actual best Weasel centre back this season. Kim Min-jae at Tiki Taka Toa was really good. But also decent votes for Fikayo Tomori, Gallica Mancini, Jan Paul Van Hecker, and Yosuk Shutalo. But it's Colwill and Saliba taking centre backs. Did YC1 make it last season? No, YC1 did not make it last season, and I can tell you why I know that. The only reason I remember who won right back of the season last year is because I had to delete 20 slides celebrating Ulysses at FC Sirs, who won right back of the season last year. But I suspect he was nominated, but Ulysses did win right back of the season. Let's go on now to left back of the season, which is going to go to Teo! What a guy. What a dude. 96th minute of 94 minutes, scoring the, at the time, title-winning goal. To cap off an excellent season. at left back for Weasels. Great showing, like the perfect capstone to a great season. So Teo Hernandez takes it for Weasels. Renan Lodi, Pervis Estupiñán, and Fixep Luke Shaw all were here. None could quite compare to the CV assembled for left back of the season by Teo. So congratulations to him, the second Weasel in our team of the season. Let's go on to the midfield. Let's go start with our central midfielders. Again, plenty of good shouts here. Plenty of argument over who should have been in the shortlist. I know some people perhaps done out of a place in the shortlist by covering multiple positions a bit too much and not having an individual case for a specific part of the field. But most people here had a pretty good reason to be on the list. It's going to go to Enzo Fernandez, who was not the best player at Nasarobwa this season. That was, of course, Gonzalo Ramos, but a really important part of their surge up the table in the back half of the season, and does really well here. Gets on the team alongside Dominic Szoboszlai, who always seems to pop up with an absolute bosh at the right time for Sirs. Major part of their title challenge, and I'm glad hasn't gone unappreciated here, because he was just constantly picking up great moments on stream. So well done to Szoboszlai. Plenty of people here will feel a bit sad about missing out. Fratesi at Tic-Tac-Toe is great. His Enormous Dominus had a tough season at the Foxes, but still was one of the best players on that team. Phil Foden, a big part again of the Nasarobwa recovery. But it's Szoboszlai and Fernandez. Let's go on now to one of our winger slots. We have another tie here. Only 3 out of 5 nominations got votes. Luis Diaz got a couple after good season at Barcelona. But it is a dead heat here between Neymar of the BBC and Take Me to Keys at Sirs. And once again, I've broken this tie in favour of the person I voted for. And if you don't like that, host the Globbies. Neymar was just stealthily really good. Like, the BBC did not have a great season by any means. They were doing an extremely global Vince cosplay and did finish the worst of the two Vince teams. But Neymar just got a lot of their goals and a lot of their assists, and when it came to his stats at the end of the season roundup, there he was, just posting really, really good numbers. So well done to Neymar. I'm going to give him the vote here over Take Me to Keys, who by no means had a bad season at all. I'm pretty sure he was taken to jail at least one time, so I think that will count against him a little bit. But Neymar gets on the list at left wing. At right wing, meanwhile, again, ties. You'll need to sort out your shit. I can't just be choosing everyone who's in the team. I mean, I can, and again, I will here because I can, but I really shouldn't. And this should be this is a you problem that you need to address. And in the meantime, I will hold your hands and do it for you. So I've given this one to Domenico Berardi at Partisac. I think I made this decision based on him being the latest draft of the 3 ties here. Like Lionel Messi at Barcelona was around 1 pick, and the real boy Yamal went up to round 6 in Blue Keeps this season. But Berardi came in round 7 and was a really, really big part of the Partisac campaign up to 4th. So well done to him. But everyone who got a vote, who was nominated, Bukayo Saka at Manchester, was it Manchester? It's probably Manchester. Was good. Jeffrey Weir at Surreal. I'd have none of those Weir seasons where Surreal do quite well overall. They're pretty middling for a long time, but they recovered to a very strong 4th in the end. Possibly 5th actually. Yeah, 5th. Surreal ended up quite good, and Weir had a high rating and didn't get a lot of goals or assists, but apparently was good. Nevertheless, it's a good thing he's going to win right wing of the season, because he wasn't. We're going to give it to Berardi. That only leaves us with strikers to sort out, and I mean, we have already had a bit of a spoiler by the fact that 2 of these players got really high, got the top 2 for player of the season, and you won't be surprised to find that they're both here as well. Big Olivier and Erling Haaland, again in that same order, but Haaland having slightly more votes, do make it into the team. Just it was a kind of a banner year for strikers this year. A lot of great performances that deserve a spot on the list, but we can't play 5 strikers in the team of the season. So Giroud and Haaland do take it up front, but justifiable votes for the likes of Gonzalo Ramos, the real boy at Nasser Obwa, who was the linchpin of their revival. Top 10 at the Baddies, had a really strong start of the season, top 10, and kind of petered out over the last few weeks, which I think cost him a great deal when it came to voting here. Big Dov on campus as well, kind of a revelation. Didn't get to play as much as you'd have liked, and perhaps that would have held things back for Tesco. But yeah, just got a shitload of goals when he was fit, so fair play to the lad. But it's Giroud and Haaland who take the slots. So this is your team of the season. We are on 3 Weasels players, 2 from Ethos, and I think 1 from other teams as represented. Yeah. So well done to this lot. That's your team of the season. Next up, let's do some banter awards. So the Cobell Prize for Shittricher, still possibly the best thing I've contributed to Gobshite, and I'm willing to accept that. Plenty of votes going around, but Kevin Trapp for winning a penalty gets a shout here. Joe Gomes, always nice to be nominated. Akraf Nasiri, the kid keeper on a real downturn. I think Reese is finally accepting that he's not it and has never been it. Andre Onana, I'm pretty sure I just wrote down that he did something dumb early in the season. I forgot what it was, but I did write it down in the server, and so some people have written that, I think, but if anyone can remember what happened, please do tell me. Otherwise, our winner, Destiny Udogi, who came, I think it was 17th in expected goals prevented, which is a goalkeeper stat, despite the fact that, as far as we can tell, he never played in goal. So definitely a surprise goalkeeper shout right at the end of the season. So he's going to take the Banter Goalkeeper Award, and I'm sure his compatriots will be both relieved and insulted that he's got it rather than them. But he may well make another appearance in a moment as we look at Banter Defender. He is just beaten out for this contest again by somebody who had a note left by me in the server, so people remembered somebody who was a viable Banter Defender choice. Little fun on the ground for some of the Banter awards this season. I highly encourage you to make your own notes during the season, because I definitely forgot a bunch of stuff. But Ronald Araujo, for his double og game, just one of the absolute leading lights as far as sort of central defender draft choices go. Sought after player, but high profile, fluffed it with a big own brace. Takes the Banter award for defender, but Joe Gomes gets a shout. Declan Rice, I think, as per usual at this point, and Patrick, I think, annoyed Robbie in some manner. I forget which, but Ronald Araujo gets Banter defender. Banter central midfielder. Again, this was just people were given a player to vote for, and that's the one they went for because they couldn't do anything else. Koke scored a funny og. I have since largely forgotten, but I do remember it being funny. And so I said that, and now he has a bunch of votes. So well done to Koke, Banter central midfielder. Mustafa Castle, I have no idea why he is on this list. Somebody thought he was funny. I mean, to be fair to them, he must have a castle. But apart from that, I don't really know. Also, Scott McTominay. What? Why? I don't know. Joe Gomes is also here, but well done to Koke, wins Banter central midfielder. Banter winger or cam. Now this was a little easier. Couple of options. Joe Gomes gets a shout. Rodrigo and Count Doku, both with decent shouts on different levels. But this was an easy vote for me, certainly, and the proportion of votes here seems to agree. Round 1 pick, Rafinha, after much confusion and options to reroute and take back and clarify what the fuck he was talking about, Robbie did somehow, for some reason, stick with Rafinha as his right 1 pick. It did win him the cup, to be fair. Rafinha was part of that cup-winning team. It wasn't a complete disaster, but it will absolutely be one of those round 1 picks that goes down long in the memory. Not quite at the Kalidou Koulibaly third pick overall level, but we will remember Rafinha round 1 for a long time. We shall see whether he goes round 1 again this season. Who can say? Next up, though, Banter Striker. And some good shouts for this one. Plenty of options, and also some people voted for things I don't understand. Joe Gomes gets a vote here. You'll have to see that for him. YC2, I think this is because he outpaced Tom's real boy. Is that what happened in terms of growth, and so got in the way of that? Which is hilarious. Harry Kane got multiple votes, and I couldn't tell you anything he did this season. Maybe that's the point. Maybe he was just shit. Hard to tell. But loads of people vote for him. Alexander Isak, I think, got a little bit underappreciated here. Scored just a shit ton of goals this season, Isak. And yet, Tiscali got more points when he wasn't on the pitch than when he was. The end of season roundup for dispossessed Caledonian Thistle was startling in terms of his points per game compared to the rest of their team. But I guess only I remembered that. There is a pretty similar case, to be fair, with Artem Dovbik, Big Dov on campus. Not only acquired a better nickname, which is, to be fair, going to help him out over Isaac, but also, despite scoring a load of goals when he was on the pitch, actually their results got a bit worse when he was on the pitch. Stats, they're weird and probably pointless. But our winner is Victor Osimhen, who I don't completely know what happened to him, but I'm pretty sure he just got injured super early. And so basically just didn't fucking play. Or was benched entirely anyway. Somebody tell me what happened there. But anyway, other people clearly remember that more than I did. And he's going to take Banter Striker in a pretty tough competition, so fair play to the lad. But yeah, Osimhen, not really a factor this season for the Kips. Sucks to be them. Just wasn't played? Oh, hilarious. Okay, love that. Love to see that. Yeah, Koeman just ignored him. Okay, perfect. That makes sense then. Quite reasonable. Banter Striker for Osimhen. Let's move on to Banter Manager. Now, perhaps fascinatingly, given that scenario, it's odd to see no votes for Ronald Koeman for simply ignoring the round 1 pick. But he does not appear on this list. Instead, we're going to get shouts out for the likes of Joe Gomes, for Will Still, I guess just for being bad and on a team called Wills. Maurizio Sarri got a high-profile reprieve from death thanks to temporal forces outside of our control, but also then did later die. Mikel, for coming in and doing better at the Pigs than his predecessor, but still being hated by Jojar. Roy Keane was here in charge of the Nottingham side that did very badly. But our banter manager, by some distance, is going to be Lionel Scaloni. People are saying he's the best manager in the Football Manager. People are saying that. It's not clear exactly what went wrong, but he did completely fuck up and fail and die and had to be bailed out by Jose Mourinho, who then went on to look like the best manager in the universe. So it's something of a reversal of fortunes for Lionel Scaloni. And he's dead, so that's all we have to say about that. But he does get a nice little award to put into his sarcophagus to go into the afterlife with. Let's carry on to Banter Team. Now, plenty of good stuff here. Lots of weirdness happened. Firstly, well done to Joe Gomes for getting a well-deserved nomination here. Wolves for, I don't know, being weird. Yeah, people thought they'd be better than I thought they would be, and they were bad. So, Los Ecos de Chud for what you'd have to say was a little bit of a classic Ecos end to the season, where they got so close to claiming their first league title and just absolutely Los Ecos de Chud'd it at the last possible moment. Tika Takatoa also appearing on this list for reasons I assume exist. A couple of votes for Maychester, who were shit and then got acquainted with the short match engine and got a lot better. Sort of the team who's best at being invisible when nobody's looking at them. So well done to them. A few votes for Nottingham for drafting a bunch of silly names. Some of them scored. Some of them scored a surprising amount. Like Zay Turbo had an incredible season. But they were bad. But our winner is Nasarawa United. What a strange team this season. Completely useless. Drafted the best manager in the world and killed him. Then roared back to get to 6th place and the cup victory. Busy season, wild events happening over at Nasarawa. A nexus of chaos. They're going to take Banter team. So well done to them. Not a lot left to do, but we do have Gimmick of the Season. Again, several suggestions here. The BBC getting a shout out for doing a Vince cosplay. That was good to see. Tom and Adam suddenly loving each other now. Well, not suddenly. It's been like at least a couple of seasons, I want to say. But someone's liking the king of tone to a love-in between Tom and Adam. The 94th minute title deciding, where Los Hijos were 3 minutes away from winning the league, but then fucked it in their game and the Wheels triumphed in theirs to suddenly turn around the league title. Adam bottling it as a separate vote here because there was other shenanigans. I probably could have bundled those together. I wasn't paying too much attention, but that's fine. They didn't win, so it's all good. Few may remember at this point that this is version 2 of the season after Reese snapped away the start of the season due to circumstances, which still didn't completely work out, but were at least improved. But yeah, we're one of those rare entire season wormholes where very much if the season existed. Joe Gomes gets a couple of votes because Pingu and Stefan voted in this poll. But our winner, and I would say a deserved one of the most memorable gimmicks to have popped up this season, was Count Dooku. Whenever Gomi Dooku scores, we instantly erupt into the cry of 1, and of course if he scores again, 2, and so on. Delightful. Just one of those, like, Reese described it perfectly, I think, of just having it be like a couple of levels beyond where it should be, like the perfect gobshite sort of bit of just not really relating to anything, but just enough relating to just enough other things to be funny. That's a perfect level of funny. So well done to Count Dooku. Gets Gimmick of the Season. Surprise of the season. A couple of things going on here. Joe Gomes gets a couple of votes. Well done to him. Adam bottling it. That is as far from a surprise as you can get, as far as I'm aware. More teams not beating Sirs than actually did. Possibly one submitted by somebody with a grudge against Sirs, but I couldn't be certain of that fact. Destiny Udogi being recognised for his achievement in goalkeeping. Bit of a surprise, possibly even to Destiny Udogi. But our winner here is the Nasser Renaissance, the miracle recovery of a team who looks dead and buried, roaring back to 6th place in the cup. It looked like the only thing they had going for them was Gonzalo Ramos, and then they got it together. So well done to Nasarawa, who have achieved something impressive, by which I mean they've won surprise of the season. What have we got left? Is it rivalry next? It's disappointment next. And look, loads of choices for this. Robbie finishing at the bottom 3 gets a shout out. Pantabang and Wanderers. Very if we'll go back and review the predictions at the start of the season pretty soon. I say Wham will do this when he has time. But like Pants were one of the top predicted teams of all season. I know we make this mistake every season. Everyone always thinks this is the season where Pants have drafted a good team and it's going to be fine. They were shit again. Really catastrophically shit. Injured kids, bunch of kids getting injured, hampering some development. People are sad about that. Alex Grimaldo just generally does appear in this list. Ansu Fati, a big underperformer at an underperforming Wolves team. Adam bottling it, again, as far from disappointment as you can possibly get, as far as I'm aware. You'd love to see that. Vitor Roque, the real boy who got eclipsed by YC2 at Foxes and subsequently binned as a real boy. The Ducks were bad this season. I am quite sad about it. I really like the look of that Ducks team, and then they really just quacked out and there was nothing left. Really ignominious ending to the season for the Ducks. But our winners are Wolves for being bad. Again, I'm prepared to take the moral high ground over this. I'm pretty sure I called Wolves being pretty shit. And they were. But people thought they would be good, and they weren't. So unlucky to Wolves, but here, have this consolation prize for disappointment of the season. This must be rivalry of the season. Yes, it is. I had to do a little bit of editorialising on the exact things being voted for, because there were slight differences, but we've combined it for ease of use. Barcelona v Sirs, I honestly couldn't tell you anything about this as a rivalry, but apparently somebody thinks it's a rivalry. Barcelona v Sirs? Is that a thing? What? Surely not. Victor Osimhen versus Ronald Koeman, a vote that makes a lot more sense to me now that I've remembered why he was nominated for Banter Striker. Simply not played. We don't know what happened between striker and manager there, but it must have been funny. Go Gomes, always nice to be nominated. Make versus his own workplace, a rivalry he conclusively lost. You absolutely love to see that. Significantly lower than I predicted him. That's probably fine. I'm sure other people were worse at it. Let's not dwell. Adam versus Success. Now this, a long-running theme for Los Hijos de Chud. Even when they're good, they're not. They fucked it up once again. But not quite enough to claim rivalry this season, because that is going to go to Robbie versus the World. There were a wide variety of definitions for Robbie versus the World, but they basically accounted for one thing, which was that Robbie just taking on anyone and everything at every opportunity. Nobody is safe from the wrath of the Nasser Oba DOF. Much closer than most. There you are. I'm completely vindicated. There you are. Robbie versus the World, rivalry this season. I look forward to that continuing, with no holds barred and no enemies spared, no friends made. Congratulations to Robbie and indeed to the world. Not a lot else to talk about. Here are our special mentions for the season. Joe Gomes, I think it's about time somebody took the opportunity to highlight the performance of Joe Gomes this season. I'm glad we have a moment here where we can do that, so well done to Joe Gomes. Reese fucked the Gobshite World Championship, which was going to be a lot of fun, but he completely fucked it. So shout out to Reese for that. RSVP Lucky Radavi being good. One of the iconic early kids, Lucky Radavi, who never quite became amazing, but had several good seasons, but has finally dropped to under 150 CA this season. His days of first team football like me behind him. Maybe, how many more seasons will he get? Will he get any more seasons? Will he get drafted? But definitely the end of an era in terms of his Gobshite viability as a first team player. Last day shenanigans, Rafinha getting first pick. I love that you thought these would be special mentions and not come up elsewhere in the awards, but congratulations. Newton getting 2 points. Again, not as we have had Surreal get 0 points before, but it's the first time in a while we've had a result this bad for any one team. And finally, Adam bottling it. Important to savour that when it happens, which is often. So that's your Season 23 awards. I've only got one more thing to talk about, and that is, of course, where we're going to be playing next season. We're going to be still a 29-player season. Pill's taking a season off to deal with house move stuff. We're going to welcome Swampert as our 29th player with team name TBC. And we will be playing the third season of our World Cup cycle in the USA, baby! Woo! It is a yeehaw situation. Code red, white and blue. We are going to the US of A. Supersize your season. I don't have anything else to say. I've run out of USA tropes. But this is the USA. Woo! So looking forward to what happens with all of that. We'll get, I presume, a new team name for Robbie. Oh yes, indeed we will. And that's going to happen very soon. So we are about to head off to Discord to do the wheels. Whammer is going to head off for those, and we'll assign draft order, and we'll get fucking going with this shit. So thank you all very much for being here. It's been a pleasure to spend this evening with you. I'll get my admin set up to do wheel stuff in the meantime. I'll see you in a moment, and go away.